Time for the sports bulletin, or should I call it your election headquarters with the Commissioner Baba Tando?
Hi, Daniel Dazi. Well, you want to call it the Joy Sports election headquarters because we've got you covered from start to finish. Now, talking about that, Joy Sports has actually intercepted, the delegates list for the National Division 1, the women and constituent bodies ahead of the Ghana FA elections, which happens next week. Now, 48 Division 1 league clubs will cast their ballots to elect 3 members on the Executive Council slot, as well as vote in the presidential election. Now, 9 persons, as we know, are contesting to pick one of the 3 available slots on the Executive Council. Among the 9 candidates jostling for a place on the council, 3 those are Otuo Achampon, Berima Buidu, Kweku Abaka Eya, Eric Oponyeboa, Justice Boyson and Samuel Enim Ado have been disenfranchised, or I should say they've been stripped of the voting rights. Now, Alhaji Ahmed Karim will vote on the ticket of King Faisal, while Ransford Abbey, or we know him as Randy Abbey, will represent Hearts of Lions. Inzima Kotoko Chief Mark Ado will cast his ballots on the ticket of his club, while Gideon Fosu will vote on the ticket of Crystal Palace, with Fred Papo expected most likely to vote on the ticket of Accra Great Olympics. Now, 8 women will vote in the presidential election, as well as 2 from the Juvenile Football Association. Now, this is what we should be careful about. This is just a Joy Sports finding. Now, the GFA is yet to receive the official delegate from RTU, and the GFA is also yet to present an official list. Now, let me speak to my colleague from the Joy Sports team, Benedict Owusu, who will help me analyze, we'll attempt to analyze the voting pattern of all of these delegates that I've been talking to you about. Hi, Benedict, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
So we know there are 6 persons vying to be president of the Ghana Football Association. We know that most of them are aligned to certain clubs. We know Keto Kweku will be aligned definitely to Dreams FC, George Efriye to Liberty Professionals, Fred Papo, Accra Great Olympics. Then we have Nanayo Amponsan for Far Rangers. Amanda Clinton, lawyer Ankama Mensah, we don't know yet.
Well, I mean, on the basis of what you just outlined, if you are looking at Amanda Clinton as well as Lawyer Ankama Mensah, Lawyer Ankama Mensah is a club that's a 3rd division club here in Accra, around the Kanaki area. But in terms of Amanda Clinton, she was able to even get to this stage of the process by virtue of the fact that the FAS points the clause in both the presidential and the executive council where one must be part of the federation, must have played an active role not less than 2 years, being a member of the federation, CAF or FIFA. But just when that clause was expunge, they gave someone like Amanda Clinton the opportunity to get in. Because if that had not expunged and if that had stayed, there was no way she was going to get a look in, even up to this level. And for Lawyer Ankama, well, for this association with the 3rd division team, of course, we don't know him that much in terms of the football community. But because of his association at the 3rd division club, that's why he also finds himself there. So it doesn't really come as a surprise because we know Fred Papo is affiliated to Accra Great Olympics. He's one of the top guys at Olympics. We know Keto Kweku is the executive chairman at Dreams. And then you talk about someone like George Efriye, who is now a director at Liberty Professionals, Nanayo Amponsan, executive chairman at Far Rangers. Because these guys are known in the football community and they play a very active role. That's why we are talking about them. But in terms of the voting pattern and the delegate list, which has been published by the Football Association, now what it means is that someone like Keto Kweku, by virtue of his association and his position and role at Dreams FC, has the opportunity to vote. So, of course, he definitely will vote for himself. Someone like Fred Papo, Division 1, the delegate list, he has the opportunity to vote. And then Nanayo Amponsan as well. You can also talk about George Efriye. So, among the 6, 4 will have a voting right at the elections, which if barring anything at all, if nothing comes from CAS, if nothing comes from the High Court, God willing, next week, Friday, the 4 out of 6 will vote in the elections, which makes it very interesting. We also talked about a bit about where we have certain people, declaring their support towards certain candidates.
Exactly.
Now, someone like Mustafa, someone like Albert Fomi, as well as Jonathan of the John, all these guys, unlike previously, what were made to understand by the candidates they were backing, that all the people following him have voting rights. Now we realize that with the delegate list, none of those staff is not going to vote because Bekum Chelsea are bringing entirely different people. You look at Dwarf, same thing, and this time, former chairman of the FA, Nana Sam Dubakla, is going to vote at the expense of Jonathan.
Exactly. I mean, Benedict, it's amazing that we're picking up such reports that Nana Sam Dubakla is going to vote. I mean, who would have thought?
Please come again.
I'm saying it's quite surprising. That's what you've mentioned. That you know, we are picking up reports that certain names, you know, have come up with regards to, you know, going to vote. For example, Nana Sam Dubakla. I mean, nobody would have thought.
Well, you know, the dynamics have changed. This both, yeah, and that's what is happening. So Nana Sam Dubakla is a very top member at the Busson Draws. If let's say they are making that decision, it's definitely going to come like people like Nana Sam Dubakla. If you go to a club like the Chelsea, decisions as to which people represent the club at Congress as delegates will come from the owner. You understand? But oftentimes, what we've been used to, you know, working with is that when we hear the likes of Mustafa, the likes of Jonathan and all the other people, because they are always at the forefront, they are always in front and doing things for the club. We always tend to even forget about the main people, those behind the scenes, just like Asante Kotoko, belonging to 248, and then Georgia Marcon is the one as well as Dr. Che. It's Dr. Che and Georgia Marcon that, you know, many people will not even affiliate Asante the Asante with 248 to Asante Kotoko. You understand?
Yes, so that's true. That's true. Okay. Anyway, Benedict, I'm sorry, we are out of time, and so we'll continue this in subsequent sports bulletins. But you should log on to myjoyonline.com/sports because you're going to find more sports headlines. I tweet at the handle at Babatan, the same for Instagram. Sports is done.